Hey, Margie here. Are you ready to learn a new type of breathing that you can put into your day that not only reduces your stress, which is important for your bones because it reduces cortisol, but also is a way to release tension, memories that you're holding in your body, stored traumas? Anyway, if that's the case, then you are in the right place because today, my one of my very good friends and colleagues, Robin Eisen, is gonna tell us and show us clarity breath work. And Robin's a physical therapist, but she's also a Feldenkrais practitioner. She's trained in craniosacral therapy, lymph drainage, and more recently, she's been trained in clarity breath work. And she's found this an incredible tool that's helping the people that she's been working with. And so when I talked to Robin about this, I'm like, you must come on the podcast. And I just want to say though, anyone, if you're currently going through, you're working with a psychiatrist or you have issues that you're working with a psychologist, you may want to talk to your practitioner before you actually do the practice that she's going to take us through. So she takes us through, I think it's around a 15-minute practice. Oh my goodness, I felt so relaxed and good after that, and I just it's something that I'm excited for all of you to learn. So, stay tuned. Welcome, Robin. I am so thrilled to have you back on the podcast.
It's so great to be back. I always love being with you, Margie, talking to your tribe.
So, if this is the first time you've heard Robin, I go back. Oh gosh, Robin, how many years is it now? Do you know
It's
exactly?
40 something, 40-ish.
It's over 40 years ago that we worked together. Then we sort of lost touch, so we worked together in a physical therapy program, and then as fate would have it, we got back together again years and years later, and when I heard what Robin was doing, I was so excited because she just has such a great mix of her Feldenkrais and breath work and so many different things that I've had her over the years come to the community, and everybody raves at Robin. Everybody, like, always feels so incredible after your sessions. And so I'm really excited because you're going to present some new things today that I think everyone's going to benefit from. But I just want, just the backstory for those who don't know you. How did you, get from just being a physical therapist to the work that you do today?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Margie, because, I became a physical therapist back in the 70s. And my training was all about body parts. We treated parts of the body, and I kind of cringe when I think about what I did to some people working in the hospital. They had a shoulder problem. We worked just on the shoulder. And then as years went by and I became a Feldenkrais practitioner, I started to understand that we are all connected in our body. And so what we do with one part of our body affects another part. And so we're a whole. And so I changed how I approach people and looking at them in totality. And then I studied craniosacral therapy and started to understand how our emotions impact our body, and so we talked a lot about, mind body connection. And being a body worker, I flipped that paradigm to body mind instead of mind body. And then I stumbled literally upon breath work and clarity breath work and started to understand that there is no mind body body mind. We're one thing. We're one connected body and mind, they're together, and what impacts one impacts the other. And for me, breath work was a big bridge between my emotions and my body. I had buried a lot of trauma. Um, I didn't know I had until I started doing breath work and opening up parts of my body that were holding information that I had suppressed. And so it's a piece of the puzzle for me, and it can be for a lot of people. So as I'm working now with people, I still do craniosacral work. I still do Feldenkrais to get embodied. And then we add the breath work as another layer to bring up parts of the body that may have been really held in tension that people haven't been able to access. And if there is an emotional component connected to it, um, that can come forward as well. And so for me, it's just, another layer. It's almost like the cherry on top. up this pyramid as I've been growing as a practitioner. And I've been doing it for over 50 years. So, um, I'm a lifelong learner.
I absolutely love this because what I have found is when we're dealing with bone health and osteoporosis, so often everybody is really worried about their exercise, which we all know is critical, especially as physical therapists and posture. We're super big into that. And with the food people are eating and their supplements and maybe and finding root causes, but they really underplay the role of stress and what it's doing to their body and these emotions that they may be holding or whatever traumas are inside their body. This is such a big deal. And I have found as like you through my whole physical therapy career and everything I do now that once people look at this piece and deal with it, everything gets better. So it's so powerful. And for everybody listening, really pay attention because I think this tool can just be transformative. So I'm so excited. So let's focus because this is different. You've been on before with regular breath work, but clarity breath work is very different and goes deeper in certain ways. So you want to just share more depth about what clarity breath work is and
Right.
it's different from regular,
Yeah.
from the different breath
Yeah.
works we can do.
Sure. There's so much out there. There's so many different kinds of breath work, and they're all valid. And each breath practice has an intention, and they're different. And so understanding what your intention is or what your need is will determine which kind of breath work or breathing practice you want. So most people know about deep belly breathing or an extended exhale, which we know helps with oxygen exchange, right? Um, but doing other kinds of practices like breath of fire is not a calming breath for the system. It's actually energizing. So if you have digestive issues and you don't have enough fire in the belly, as they'll talk about in Ayurvedic medicine, then doing something that energizes you, doing breath of fire, can bring more energy into that system. So clarity breath work came out of um, rebirthing years and years ago about going back into your history. And then my teachers uh, developed what they named clarity breath work to bring clarity into your life. And so it's not just about your birth process, but your entire childhood and maybe even what happened with your boss last week. And it's a gentle breath work. So a lot of breath work that deals with bringing up emotion into the body can be very stimulating and almost overstimulating, where people will re-experience a trauma and uh, have a cathartic kind of experience with yelling and screaming. This is not like that. We use the breath in a gentle way for whatever you need in that moment. And it doesn't have to be an hour worth of breath work. I'll take you through an experience today. We'll do just a little taste of it to get an idea of how it feels. And every breath work session is going to be different, not only for you, but for each person. So it's whatever they need in that moment. And we do breathe in clarity breath work through the mouth. And I know when people hear that, their shackles may go up because we've learned, especially from people like James Nestor, who wrote the book Breath, um, that we are supposed to be breathing through our nose. We know from research that breath work can cause chronic issues in our body. But that's if you're breathing through your mouth over time, like a chronic breather, a chronic mouth breather can cause physiological problems. We're using mouth breathing as a means to an end. What it does is it opens the throat, relaxes the tissue so that you can take in a little bit of a deeper breath. And for me, I think about it, it's just like exercising a muscle or your heart. If you wanted to do aerobic activity and you figured out what your target heart rate is, for someone in my age group, it might only be 125. And you're doing an activity and you're raising your heart rate, let's say from 70 to 120. And that's good for your heart. but we never wanna be at 120 all the time, right? We don't want our heart rate to be up there. So it's the same with using an open mouth to breathe as a technique, not something we would do all the time. We don't wanna be mouth breathing, especially at night, can help having the mouth closed, help with sleep apnea, help with relaxing the body. So I hope that that clarifies for people and makes them less anxious about breathing through the mouth. However, if people can't, they're that uncomfortable or it makes them nervous, you can do the technique through the nose.
Hey, Margie here. High quality supplements are a big part of a comprehensive osteoporosis program. To help you, I offer a significant discount every day in my supplement store through FullScript. FullScript has the most extensive catalog of professional grade supplements and wellness products I've ever found. So all you need to do is go to tinyurl.com. That's tinyurl.com/supplements for less. And you'll get to my FullScript store. And in there, you'll see my favorite bone building supplements. So make sure to check it out. And the link will also be in the show notes. So let's get back to the show. Okay, yeah, I think that's important because we've been for the longest time diaphragmatic breathing, and it is if we do want to do that, and that is the relaxation breath. But as you said, this has another purpose, and I'm excited because this is not something I do so much breath work, but clarity breath work is not something that I do. And you always teach me new things, Robin. So
It's fun to
yeah.
learn new
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely. No, I love it. The Feldenkrais is something that I think is unbelievable. So you just have some really great things that you've delved into that you've put together. But I love the fact that you're adding this now and that we're going to share it. And I'm telling you, as part of a bones program, this is these techniques. It's sort of like a smorgasbord, right, Robin? People think about what works
Exactly.
for them. But if you have some deep-rooted things, and the two of us as physical therapists, we see the physical manifestations of this trauma or things we're holding in that when they're released, all right, so much more freedom. All right, I'm not going to talk
Yeah,
anymore.
and just to add to that, so most breathwork practices are gonna reduce your cortisol level, which we know impacts negatively on bones, can also reduce blood pressure. But I think you'll love this piece. It's related to the happiness piece because you talk a lot about happiness and bone health. I was somebody who, like our teacher, right, Marcy Shimoff, I don't think I was born happy. And doing clarity breath work for me, I'm finding more joy and my bone health is improving. Of course, I'm doing a lot of other things, but I'm sure this is a piece of it. So I'm so grateful to having the smorgasbord. Right.
Yeah, and people don't realize that, there's a study that was done, Finnish women, that showed that people who were satisfied with their life and happier had increased bone density. So it all goes together. But this piece, I just can't stress to people, don't forget this piece. As you said, your bones have gotten better, and I just see this so transformative and just being transformational for people. So all right, I'm just going to let you take it away, Robin, and I can't wait to do.
Okay. Okay, well, let's do this. So, just to give you the landscape, we are going to do an embodiment practice, kind of get you in your body. It's based on the Feldenkrais method. And then I'll take you through a short breathing practice. So, it'll be maybe 15 minutes or so, and I will be playing some music. And so, you can do this in sitting, and don't do this if you're driving, please. And if you are comfortable and you have a place to be, you can do this lying down and my instructions will be appropriate for whether you're sitting or lying down. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, and Margie, I know does this a lot, you're going to do just a little shaking. And if you are standing before you lay down, you can bounce and shake and you can lift your heels and that can stimulate your bones. But, for me, this is just sort of getting the energy moving, getting me in my body and shake any which way you like. So it feels good. And then allow yourself to kind of just slow that down and settle. And take in a breath and let it out. It could be through your nose, through your mouth. An extended exhale just to bring yourself back. And if you're sitting, go ahead and just notice your feet and where they are. And if they're not on the floor, or if they're tucked under behind you, get your feet on the floor to ground you. And if you're lying down, you could bend your knees so that your feet are flat. Just notice where your sit bones are and your feet are. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to change anything. It's just noticing. And then you can leave your eyes open or closed. I want you to tune into your breath. You don't need to change it, just notice. And for most people, as soon as they're asked to notice their breath, they do start to take a little deeper breath. And then put your attention into your belly. So actually do a little bit of a belly breath. You can put your hand on your belly where you breathe in through your nose and feel your belly expand. And that's what most of us are used to, feeling the belly, feeling the front of ourselves. But now, when you take in a breath, see if you can feel anything happening in the back of you. And if you're sitting and you're against the back of a chair, you may want to think about your ribs going back into the chair. Or if you're lying down, see if you can feel when you take in a breath, an expansion into the floor. And if you don't feel that, that's okay. We just put all that in your memory bank. Where do you feel it? Where don't you? And then if you can just rest your hands in your lap, and if you're lying, have your arms beside you, think about breathing into your elbows. Can you feel the breath go to the sides? Because our lungs take up the entire cavity, front, side, back. But we're so used to orienting ourselves to the front, we forget that we have expansion to the sides and to the back of ourselves. So now take the back of your hands and place them on your lower ribs on the side. So it's going to be above your waist. And if that's comfortable for your shoulders. And if that's not comfortable, just continue to think about breathing and following my instructions. Taking in a breath, see if you can feel your ribs with the lungs underneath them pushing your hands to the right and left. So you take in a breath, the right hand goes a little to the right and the left hand goes a little to the left. And do maybe 3 breaths there. And now take your hands and slide them to the front of your ribs. So the flat of your hands, the palms of your hands is on your lower ribs, just in the front. And think about the expansion here. So you're not so much in your belly, but you're at the lower end of the lungs. Breathing there, and you might feel your ribs expanding and actually the spaces between the ribs opening. And then if it's comfortable, slide your hands around yourself in the back of your hands to the back of the lower ribs. And see if you can feel, as you take in a breath, an expansion behind you. And then drop your hands into your lap and think about that 360-degree range of breath, front, sides, back. And after a breath or two, take one hand and put it on your breastbone, and then your other hand on top, and put just a little bit, and I mean like 5 grams, like the weight of a nickel pressure, into yourself, but also a little drag down as if your elbows are heavy. So you're feeling your hands really against that bone. Now breathe into your breastbone, into that sternum. It's taking the sternum forward. The lungs are filling a little bit higher. And you're breathing into the breastbone. And this is where we're going to do the clarity breath work. We're going to start breathing into the front of ourselves. And then relaxing from that, take your right hand and slide it across to your left collarbone and have your index finger and your thumb above the collarbone and the other fingers either on or below. And then take your left hand to your right collarbone. So your hands are across and you're on your collarbones. And see if you can breathe into your index fingers right above the collarbone. Your lungs actually peak just above the collarbone. The very peak of the upper lobes of the lung are this high. If you watch anybody that has chronic pulmonary disease, you will see them breathing way up here. It's not something we want to do all the time, but we do want to know that the lungs are there and keep that open. Good. And then very last one we'll do is uncross your hands, but take your hands and slide them to the top of your shoulders. The fingers go a little behind you. You're kind of on top of your first rib and the big muscle bulk, or what we call a trapezius. People will talk about their traps being tight. And then see if you can breathe into your fingers so you're going into the upper lobes, but a little behind you. This is the hardest to feel. Most people have a lot of amnesia here, may not feel it. But that gives you an idea that you've got all these parts to your lungs, and you can be breathing into any part segmentally or as a whole. And you can relax your hands, bring them down, and rest. And just notice from that little exploration whether you feel any different. Might feel part of yourself you haven't been in touch with. It may have brought up a discomfort that you've been kind of holding back. You may feel more relaxed. Everybody's going to have a slightly different experience.
I happen to say I feel giddy.
Okay.
Because
Okay,
I feel
good.
so relaxed. I just wanna laugh, you know?
Happiness.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to show you what the breath will look like, and you will modify it to what you need. And if you have water nearby, that can be helpful too, because as we breathe through the mouth, you may get a little dry. Anytime you feel you need to stop, you stop. You need to sit up if you're lying down, get a sip of water, stop the breath and just listen. This is your process. There's no sense in pushing past what feels comfortable. What may come up for you is tingling. That's normal as we're getting more oxygen into cells that may have been deprived a little bit. Um, you may start to feel a little tension, a little curling of the fingers and the toes. Um, we don't want that to happen. Means you might be pushing the breath a little bit. So if you start to feel a little bit of clenching, slow everything down. Maybe take a few breaths through the nose, a few belly breaths until the body relaxes. Okay. So motions may come up. You might want to have a piece of paper or journal nearby because things may come up that you want to write down. I am going to be playing a little bit of music, but the breath will look like this. So you're going to start to breathe in through the chest or what we call the heart area first. So instead of taking in a belly breath and then letting it come up, we're going to try to breathe here into the chest and then let it go up and down. Right? We call it a heart centered breath. And you're going to breathe in through your mouth and out through your mouth with what we call an aha breath. It's a non-vocal aha. So we're not doing aha, but it's so an ah on the inhale and a ha on the exhale with you breathing into the breastbone. And you can start if you need to have that hand on your breastbone as input, but then eventually put your arms down by your side and I'll be talking you through the process. Okay, so set an intention for your breathwork session. What would you like to get out of it? It might be more relaxation. It might be clarity on your health journey. Like, what's your next step? Uh, you know, Do I want to make that phone call when I get off this particular process? What is it that you need in the moment? Just set that intention. Something else completely different may come up, but at least you have an idea. I always want people to know their why of what they're doing, why they're doing a process. So close your eyes, settle into your space, whether you are lying down or sitting, and start to tune into your breath.
Come now, child, lay it down. Just breathe,
And just breathe.
just be. Come be cradled in the arms of love. Just breathe, just be. Come now, child, lay it down.
What can you lay down
Just breathe.
with your breath?
Just
Breathing into the chest, aha, with the mouth open if you can.
cradled in the arms of love.
There is no pause
Breathe,
between inhale and
just
exhale.
be.
So it's a continuous
Now,
circular breath.
lay
No extended exhale, no holding.
just breathe. Just be.
Inhale and immediately
Be
exhale.
cradled in the arms of
And the
love.
pace is your own.
Just breathe.
And allow
just
the
be.
breath to cradle you. Just breathe.
Come now, child, lay it down. Just
Lay down the burden.
just be. Come be cradled in the arms of love. Just breathe.
In through the
just be.
chest.
Come now, child, lay it down. Just breathe. Just
As the breath comes into the chest, you can then go down to the belly, up through the throat,
just breathe. Just
and then out through the crown. Allow your lungs to be the wings of the heart. Open the chest, breathing, allowing your heart to open, and then carry that breath to every cell of your body, even into the bones. Imagine your entire skeleton taking in the breath. That first breath of life, it's been with us since the start. If you start yawning, is a good sign. Things are relaxing.
come now, child, lay
Just lay it down.
just breathe. Just be.
Nothing to do but breathe.
Come be cradled in the arms of love. Just breathe, just be.
There's an area you feel isn't getting the breath.
Come
Put your attention
now,
there.
child, lay it down. Just breathe, just be. Come
Take care of yourself if you need water.
the arms of
You
love.
might get cold, get a sweater.
Just breathe,
If you
just
get hot, maybe you can take off a layer.
come now, child, lay
Temperature changes normal.
just breathe, just be. Come be cradled in the arms of love.
You might need to make a sound.
Just breathe, just come now, child, lay it down. Just breathe, just be. Come be cradled in the arms of
Keep
love.
breathing.
Just breathe, just be.
Keep
Just
breathing.
breathe, just be. Just breathe.
There's more music coming. If you need to take a break, you can. If you can, as this song comes up, you might want to increase your pace of the breath, if you're comfortable with that. And think about who you are, who do you want to be?
From an island, she stands apart from the crowd. She loves the sea and her people. She makes her whole family proud. Sometimes the world seems against you. The journey may leave a scar, but scars can heal and reveal just where you are. The people you love will change you. The things you have learned will guide you. And nothing on earth can silence the quiet voice still inside you. And when that voice starts to whisper,
What whisper do you
Moana,
hear?
you've come so far. Moana, listen. Do you know who you are?
Who am I? I am a girl who loves my island and the girl who loves the sea.
Breathing into the heart.
Calls me.
You
I
might
am
want
the
to pick up
daughter
your
of the
pace.
village chief. We are descended from voyagers who found their way across the
No
world.
pausing between
They
inhale and
call
exhale.
me. I've delivered us to where we are. I have journeyed farther. I am everything I've learned and more. Still it calls me. And the call isn't out there at all. It's inside me. It's like the tide.
Keep breathing.
Always falling and rising. I will carry you here in my heart. You remind me.
Let the breath take you to who you really are.
I know the way. I am Moana.
Keep breathing. Do you know who you are? And can you trust in what you don't know? Breathing in through the chest, opening the heart, taking the breath into all your cells, into your bones, and trust.
Trust in the unknown. Trust in the unknown. You are always safe.
You're always safe,
You are always carried.
and you're always
You
carried.
are always held. You are always guided. Trust in your heart.
Let the breath guide you.
Trust in your strength. Trust in your light. You are always guided. Trust in your heart. Trust in your strength. Trust in your light. Trust in yourself.
Keep breathing into the trust of the unknown. Just a few more minutes of breathing, so make the best of it.
You are always held. You are always guided. Trust in your heart.
Trust in your heart
Trust in your strength.
and your strength.
Trust in your light. Trust in yourself.
Okay, a few more minutes.
Always held. You are always guided. Trust in yourself.
As you take your last few breaths, you want to come back to the room. You might want to touch yourself just to come back into your body. Rub your hands together. Maybe touch your face. Take a few deeper breaths, exhaling with a longer exhale. Write down anything that may have come to mind or questions that you have. Okay, here we are.
Wow, this was really different. I was freezing and yawning every second.
Sorry. Yeah, and so I didn't mention at the beginning, and it's hard, when people are just coming onto a podcast to have everything ready, like a blanket and water, and I didn't at the beginning tell you there should be a circular breath with no pauses. I did shorten the music a little bit because I could see it was going a little long. Um, so I hope it wasn't disturbing as I was fast
Oh,
forwarding a little
great,
bit, but
great music. Yeah. So should people well, what else do you wanna say? I don't wanna ask you questions.
Um, well, I just wanted to say that when everything came up, is normal within range, right? But people could always email me if they have concerns after having listened, they have a real burning question. And you could find me at yourhealingjourney.net.
Wait, before you
Robin?
tell people so this was just a short practice, so I have a couple questions. If people
Yes.
only have like, we know I love things you can add to your day, or sometimes people don't have this much time. So can they just do a shorter version of this?
Yes, and I'm glad you asked that because I was going to say that at the end. Because you often ask, well, what's the last thing you want to tell people? You can do 3 connected breaths anytime. I do it when I first wake up in the morning. So it's just a brings me back in present moment, wake up, starting my day. Anytime you're feeling stressed, on the computer, something's not working, take 3 connected breaths. It's just a different way of breathing. So yes, few seconds, you can do this. You can lay down and do a couple of minutes or just sitting a couple of minutes. You don't have to have music. So this is done different ways. Having a practitioner work with you is very helpful, right? Because we do a little bit of processing before the breath work. We set an intention. We do close to an hour breathing with one-on-one. Maybe 30 minutes though, if people can't handle that. And then we do some processing at the end. And it's advisable for people to do several sessions, right? To maybe do a series of 10 to really have a transformation. We do breathing circles. And so you can breathe in a group, which is very powerful in person, but we also do it online. And we can do this online easily. So there's many ways to incorporate this type of breath work, whether it's just for a few seconds, whether it's breathing with a practitioner, whether it's breathing for shorter or longer segments on your own. And breathing in community is always wonderful because then people can get together and share their experience. And often that helps the next person just listening to someone else's journey.
Okay, so I have a couple questions. Number 1, since this is new to me too, so now after that, I wanna go back and do some really I do my whole life belly breathing, and I wanna so is it fine then right after that to do any other practice that you feel?
Absolutely. You can do anything, just be mindful if you're feeling very sleepy and maybe a little bit almost disoriented, you're not going to want to go out and exercise right away, right? But yes, so that's what at the end, as you touching yourself, saying, taking a couple of deep breaths, you can do deep belly breathing. You can do your 4-7-8, your box breathing, anything on top of that, or any other practice, any other brain-based wellness um, little process that you need for your own nervous system.
Okay, question number 2 is you said some really great words. I love the words that you shared. So is that something people can they make their own words up, or were there certain reasons for some of the words that you said?
The words I was using was piggybacking on the music. So, yes, they can be any words that make sense to you, and you can play any music that speaks to you. So, certain music doesn't resonate with me. Certain music may not resonate with someone else. So, when you're in a breathing circle, there may be some music that you don't necessarily like, and then you can kind of go into your own process. But there's other music that speak to me, and those are the ones I tend to use. Like what I played today is the music that speaks to me. Um, but the words that I used were to try to reinforce what the music was bringing forth.
Okay, and
I
number
hope that
3
answered your question.
yes. So now this is a technique to bring things up. So now what should people and what are some good techniques? If things come up now, what are the strategies that you recommend?
So
Journaling or
I
what
recommend journaling, or just even writing a few things down, and then finding somebody that can help you process. If you're finding things are coming up that you cannot process completely on your own, find a psychotherapist if you don't already have one, right? Or work with a practitioner who's trauma informed that can help you process what's coming up. There's mind, and things we don't want it just rattling here. We want to bring it in the body, but then we want to clear it. So sometimes it'll just clear through the body. You may have a memory, but it's actually just clearing, and you don't have to do a lot of decoding of the whole thing, but sometimes you do.
yes, I love that, the fact that it can just leave without you sitting discussing it for hours. Now if
Which is
someone
why I like the body work, right? Why you and I, we do body processing because the mind has these traps and mazes that can take you down a rabbit hole that may not be useful.
so if somebody has serious issues, they're really going through something or they have depression or they're on medication or they're working with a psychiatrist, would you suggest not to do this by themselves or
Right. I would suggest that they find a practitioner that they feel comfortable with
okay.
and that they also clear it with their practitioner
Okay, okay, so
so that,
I will
everybody's on the same
I
page.
will mention that before we get started, actually. Okay, great. And okay, so what I want you to do is tell people what you do because Robin does a lot of things. This is just one small piece. So do you when you have tell everybody what's available, but when you have a session with people, do you combine this with all your other amazing tools as well?
So so it depends. So I have several programs and I work from 3 pillars, which you had already mentioned, basically looking at your nourishment, which is your mindset and what you put in your body, then looking at movement, which does include the breath, and then looking at the environment, which is your community and also your physical space. So putting all that together, if you're working with me one-on-one, we try to hone in on what you need the most. And if breath work seems to be the piece that's most useful, we'll incorporate all kinds of breath work and possibly clarity breath work. But if people already know that this speaks to them, then I can do one-on-one clarity breath work with people. And that's all on my website, which is yourhealingjourney.net. And now what's coming up, what I want to offer your community is I'll be doing a breathing circle. So it'll be a 5-week program. We'll meet for an hour and a half. And I'm offering people listening to the podcast a 25% discount on that cost if they use the code MARGIE25. So if they go to yourhealingjourney.net/clarity, they'll get to a page that gives you information on clarity breathwork.
Oh,
And
that's
then,
great. Love
yeah,
that.
just that information. And then if you're interested in the breathing circle, there'll be another link there that'll take you to that 5-week program that explains it in more detail. And then if they and going on my website, I have free resources if you just want to download something for free, um, and get on my email list, and then you'll get more information. I send out health tips and other offerings. So
But
lots
you
of
know what
ways to
I'm gonna do,
connect.
Robin, also? I'm going to, underneath the podcast, because 'cause you've come on a couple times and done some Feldenkrais and certain things on sitting and that are so powerful, right? That I think let people also, for those who haven't been listening to my podcast for, oh, I don't know, it's almost 6 years now, I think. And you've come on from the very beginning and done some amazing things. So I think, what do you think? I think that's a good
That would
idea.
be great. And also, I have the podcasts I've done with you before. They're on my website,
Oh,
so you could just
perfect.
click it there. Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
So, yeah, so people can experience that as well. Well, I'm so excited because this is new for me. And oh my gosh, I'm so relaxed. I have so much to do the rest of the day.
Well, hopefully, it's just you'll be relaxed enough to think clearly.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
whole
No,
idea.
it's
Get
funny
clarity.
because I've been going through a major decluttering of, I had lost something, so it made me really work on my closet. I've been doing major decluttering. So I just kept seeing things like flying out of the house, physical decluttering. But it's so powerful. And yeah, it was just great. I can't thank you enough for sharing this.
Oh, well, you're so welcome. So welcome.
Is there anything else before we end that you want to share with everybody?
Yeah, I will say one more thing, and that is there's no magic bullet. So have your smorgasbord of what you need and what speaks to you. And that healing is not about never feeling pain, right? It's about how you live and approach what comes up for you. So I'll leave you with that.
I love that, Robin. Thank you so much. And the interesting thing is both of us as physical therapists, we started very much, hands-on body work. We both have seen, it's been many, many years that you need more than that. That's great and very important, but this other piece that Robin brings and this other piece of the mind, body, and is in the spirit is just so, so powerful. So thank you for sharing
You're
this
so
with us, and that was
welcome.
such a great technique. I'm thrilled that I'm so relaxed now for the rest of the day.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to bring clarity breath work to people.
It's always fun to see you. So thanks again for being here.
You're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed my interview with Robin as much as I did. And now you learned a new technique, clarity breath work, that you can put into your day. So make sure to check it out, see how it feels. And if you're interested in going further, all the links that Robin talked about will be in the show notes. I know I feel so relaxed from this short little session. So thank you so much for being part of the community. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with anyone you think would benefit. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.